Hello folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another historic video. Taking advantage of this all-access event, I'm now going to try out the Blue-White Auras deck, which does have Lurrus as a companion. So this deck's very simple. It looks to have either Core Spirit Dancer or SRAM in play, and then vomit auras onto some creature, creating something that's very, very large. And essentially, eventually you give it evasion, and you just kind of get there. So Arcane Flight is kind of a finisher for this deck in one way, in that it grants evasion, and All That Glitters is the other, in that it creates a stupid, stupid huge body. Now, a lot of the other auras aren't all that exciting. Curious Obsession sees a decent amount of play in Historic, in sort of like the equivalent of this format's Delver decks that are looking to get ahead on tempo. And then something like Cartouche of Solidarity is not overly exciting, but it gives you some edge versus things that want you to sacrifice creatures. As we all know, one of the biggest downsides of playing auras is that you can get 2 for 1 very, very easily. Where Spirit Dancer and SRAM kind of help out with that in the card advantage, but then a lot of the creatures that you play in the 1-drop slot help out with that as well. Alseid of Life's Bounty can give your creature protection from the color of your choice until end of turn, and Selfless Savior can give something indestructible. Let's jump into some matches and see how this deck feels. This deck has felt okay from the other side of the table, but I find that I'm often able to play past what they're doing. We'll see if that's the impression I actually have after playing some games with it. Okay. I'm lacking a blue source, but I have an engine card, and I think that's good enough to go ahead and keep the hand. So I can go SRAM, draw 2, and everything's great. I have not seen this goblin hit play before. But my guess is that our opponent is on some sort of very, very aggressive red deck. Okay, the bad news is I'm probably dead if I don't draw a creature. Alright, I drew a creature. And I think this is just the point where I have to go ahead and create a creature. Doesn't feel good to throw this on this creature. Yeah, well. The good news is I have avoided taking 1 damage this turn. Maybe 3 damage. Uh-oh. So rather than enchant this creature, I think I'm just going to go ahead and put the Lurrus into my hand. I wonder if our opponent is playing some sort of budget mono red deck, specifically. Ember Hauler can take care of Lurrus. I can Lurrus and immediately get something back like a Cartouche. But I'd rather Lurrus and get SRAM. There's also just like... each one of these gives +1/+1. Alright, I'm gonna try to get them to blow their Ember Hauler on this creature and then maybe dig myself out with SRAM. Alright, just crash in. I think I just crash in now. Because I think the Ember Hauler just trades with it. Oh no, there's the Goblin Banneret. I forgot about his activated ability. Oh, this is weird to me. interesting. My opponent is playing around like me having a combat trick. I just no, I guess I don't take it. I'm trying to get them to use this Ember Hauler so I can keep Loris around. Very weird dance going on here. This I like. This is something that can get them to use that Ember Hauler. Now the question is, like, where am I pointing everything else this turn? I think I like this cartouche here. And if they want to get rid of my Spirit Dancer, this is their time. Otherwise, it's out of range. Yes, I want my card. That's what I'm here for. Okay, I think I've navigated this one pretty well. Yeah, now I get, like, Luris into all the cool stuff that's in my graveyard. Yeah, I like this. You can activate that at instant speed, you know. Oh! Mentor. Yeah, I guess I'm just taking 10. No blocks. Oh, this is a lot of stuff. The Selfless Savior coming back to keep this indestructible seems like the thing that just leads to me winning the greatest proportion of the time. Yeah. And now I even have a couple of chump blockers if need be. I like where this is going. Yeah, against decks that can't actually interact with your creatures more or less at all once they're above a certain size, like, you're going to be more and more favored as the game ticks on and on. But then when you, like, get 2 for 1 or worse by just a simple removal spell, you question everything about your life. I have to take 2 damage on my first turn. Alright, so my opponent looks to be some sort of maybe 4-color control deck. And I guess because of Fatal Push specifically there, I should have just taken my attack first. I think my opponent is not going to be using a removal spell on that, but who knows. Now, if they had a removal spell, it kind of feels like they should have done it on their turn. We'll see. Let's see if I can fly and also get out of range of something like a shock. Seems like yes. Seems like yes was the answer. Could put a SRAM into play this turn. I could also just like play conservatively and hold up the Alseid. But they didn't kill it when they had the chance, so I may be more likely to just hit a board wipe or something. So let's just battle. Like, I will put you dead next turn. I will do it. So white for something like Settle the Wreckage could be in my future. I don't think I am going to take any actions pre-combat other than just playing this island. And we're just going to attack with this creature. We're going to keep the other one out of combat for Settle the Wreckage. I feel so smart. Alright, so now in the second main phase, we'll drop a SRAM. And I guess we put all that glitters on Ornithopter. This is a little weird, like whether or not I should actually even play this card this turn. The fact that I have a backup SRAM makes me okay with committing some resources. Fair. So that's mighty interesting. Alright, I've flooded out a bit. Okay, I have flood insurance in the form of this cat. Potentially just representing lethal next turn by playing Luris and then all that glitters as well.
I have practiced against just the trick for this.
Okay, my opponent has found a Gideon, which they could have played, but didn't. I think I now split up these things and guarantee some damage this turn. Hard to say. I'll start with casting this. Let's see if this resolves or if this gets countered. Okay, it does get countered. In which case, if I draw very specifically and all that glitters, I would like to have this here. A card? Did I not just get a card draw for that? I must have. I'm gonna go ahead and kill the Narset.
I shall miss your company.
So Gideon's gonna fog this, in all likelihood. And then I need to do something else. I need some amount of gas off the top of the library.
Virtue will always triumph. I've been waiting for this.
Alright, the Yorion is in my opponent's hand. I don't mind this draw. The 0 ability here is also going to be a little bit annoying. I'm gonna go face here. Like if I can make them spend a turn using having to make a Gideon emblem, that's probably good for me. Because then, like, this gets to attack too. This one's on the slippery slope to a loss. But at the same time, I can also just, like, rip a chain of enchantments, specifically Auras, off the top of the library and be totally fine. Uh-oh. So now the SRAM gets tucked into my deck. And then, yeah. And this gets fogged. I have 1 damage that can attack in.
Let's do this.
A new SRAM, you say? Alright. So, the vast majority of the time, this thing just attacks in and kills Teferi. There's a very small percentage of the time where my opponent dies this turn. It's not this time.
Really should have seen that coming.
All right. There's a good chance that I'm representing lethal. All right.
You cannot win.
Ah, that's what's going on. That's why the Lotus Fields make sense. I don't really think I have a good attack this turn. I can deal 4 to either them or Gideon, but I don't know that that gets me anywhere. I'd rather try to make my move all at once. That can... the synergy. I see.
I'm going in.
Alright, so now I really need to kill this Gideon. But I don't have the ability to do that yet. We're gonna wait. This long game does not favor us.
Now it's my turn.
Okay, this is good. So let's maybe target SRAM with this, because I have another one. This is... wow. This whole, like, Pact of Negation don't pay because of Gideon Emblem thing is pretty hot. Alright, I think for the sake of video content here, I'm going to go ahead and pack this one in. I think my opponent has stabilized this enough, and I've whiffed on enough draw steps that I'm not going to get through 10 life plus Gideon plus blocker. I would play this one out if it wasn't just me recording, but I think the writing's on the wall here. And a good indication of that is that if our opponent is willing to spend enough resources to like counter our triggered abilities that are just going to draw us a random card, that's probably a sign of strength, not a sign of weakness or desperation. So I guess I'm just, like, not playing a turn 1 thing, so I can play this tap land. Now I have an option. I think I'm still going to play this tapped on turn 1. So the plan is use SRAM as a draw engine here. And it looks like we're playing against some sort of ramped deck, so we probably don't need to worry too much about our cards being removed. So we're going to look to go Cartouche, and then either Cartouche or All That Glitters, depending on whether or not I draw another relevant 1-drop. JK, opponent has removal. All right, we're gonna build a monster the old-fashioned way. We're going to have a very beefy enchantment creature next turn, but if we just get a 3-for-1 here, it's pretty feel bad. Okay. So, is there a world where I want to double enchant one of these and just start crashing in? Maybe. Maybe that's the line that works towards me winning. It gets me cards and damage this turn. And I need more resources than what I have right now in order to win. That does not help. So I don't know what this card does, but it feels like this has combo potential.
nice and live. Don't think you'll be needing that. Ugh, what a whiner.
You can make me discard a card so I can keep... I could also just kill you. Yeah, that may be wise.
Okay, I'm done.
And next turn we can Lurrus for an... Oh no, there isn't an All That Glitters. There's a Cartouche or there's a SRAM. I have lines available, but I think I'm just dead to a removal spell. And I don't know what legendary creatures my opponent has to offer that might be able to just remove my onboard creatures.
The hunt begins.
Okay, so things have taken a turn for the worse. I think I'm just done here. Let's pack this in. Okay, I don't particularly like this deck. It feels like we're a little bit soft to removal. It feels like a lot of times my turn 1 play is clunky. Like, the Alseid requires you to hold up mana, and you're a deck that really wants to be tapping out most of the time. So I'm not overly sold on this deck, but I see people playing it a lot, so it must be at least somewhat viable. If you've played this one, and you have other thoughts on it, throw them in the comments and let me know what you think. And if you made it this far, and you want to see more historic content, please like this video to help the algorithm get it into more people's hands. Have a great rest of the day.